Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Rick, for that beautiful song. I didn't know it was Grandparents' Day. And didn't know that I needed to bring tissue today. Thinking about my grandmother, who I called Bubby. There's nothing like your grandparents' place, for sure. And for me, it wasn't that she made cookies and things like that, although she made some awesome matzo ball soup. But we would go for a walk to Thrifty's and get a double scoop for 10 cents of ice cream. I'm dating myself, I know. Hi, everyone. It's good to be back. Happy September. Yes, our theme of the month, the genius of magic. And today, talking about wonder as a way of life. Now, our book of the month, and Reverend Myrna mentioned this, written by Megan, she pretty much wrote this book for us. Isn't that remarkable? She will be here with us in person on the third Sunday and be providing a workshop as well. And I love the name of her book, Living Magic, The Surprisingly Practical Choice. The Surprisingly Practical Choice. And when I think of people that live in that paradigm of wonder and magic, I know that a lot of times I'm including myself, we end up getting labeled as unicorns, as Megan calls them, as different, as creatives, as a little weird, a little bit different, right? I'm one with that. I'm good with my differences. I'm good with my weird. But when Megan says, when you start to see your sensitivity, and I would say that unicorns are sensitive folks, as strength, the collapse stops being the end of the story. It becomes the beginning. Sensitivity is the field to which the shift before the visible, to know where energy is and be ready to flow. The world needs unicorns because the world needs this level of attunement. Without it, we continue to repeat the same patterns. With it, we create this future. So make sure you pick up one of these books. They're out in the lobby. I think the ones that were downstairs were sold, right? But they're on, there's still a couple downstairs, and you can get them on Amazon. Great book that she wrote just for us. So speaking of unicorns, what's the last time that you all looked into the night sky or up into the mountains and the trees and felt completely connected? Maybe small, but completely connected to what you're seeing out there. Many of you know that I just got back from being away. I was in the Seattle area, and then I was in Alaska, and boy, did I have opportunity to feel that connection. I'll talk a little bit more about that. But I am so grateful that I had that time to unplug. I had that time to do something differently than I've always done it. Let me start here because I'm talking about wonder, and wonder as a way of life. What is wonder? Wonder is a feeling of surprise, mingled with admiration, caused by something beautiful, unexpected, unfamiliar, or inexplicable. See, wonder is different than curiosity and awe and amazement. Curiosity, you're seeking answers. Awe humbles us. It humbles us before greatness. And wonder, what I'm saying is wonder is a way of life. It's not just for those mountaintops, and it's not just for those whales that I saw in Alaska. Wonder is a way of living your life on a daily basis. It's a choice. A quote from Richard Rohr about wonder. The real gift of a contemplative practice is to be happy and content even while we are just sitting on the porch, looking at a rock, or when we are doing the nothingness of prayer, of gazing at anything in its ordinariness, or when we can see, accept, and say that every single act of creation just is, and thus allow it to work its wonder on us. This is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about wonder as a way of life. So why does wonder matter so much? It matters so much because it connects us with something that's bigger than us. What about the wonder of just hearing a child giggle? The wonder for me of being on that cruise ship, like, where do they get all this food? I wonder, where do all these people that work at seemingly like 24 hours a day, where do they sleep? And how do they refresh themselves? I had a lot of wonder. Wonder of being out on the balcony and seeing the horizon and the water so incredibly smooth. The wonder of the beautiful weather that we had every single day. I felt so connected with nature. It's exactly what I needed. The next thing of why wonder matters is relationships. Wonder opens us to see through fresh eyes. Okay, many of you in this room have been in relationships for years and years, not just with spouses, boyfriends, girlfriends, but with children, with parents, with friends, childhood people that you've grown up with. And sometimes we get kind of jaded because we know the person so well. And we think, oh, yep, there they go again. They're going to say that same thing, right? Because we've been with them all these years. But if you stay in wonder, I love it when I stay in wonder and I watch my wife navigate our neighborhood, helping people in our neighborhood that need extra help. And the wonder of what a big heart she has to go out there and to help these people. That's the kind of place that I always want to be coming from. Because yes, we get on each other's nerves. We all do in some way, shape, or form. We do things the way we do things, and that's not how someone else does it. But if you stay in wonder in these relationships, it keeps that relationship fresh. The next reason and important thing of why wonder matters is personally. Wonder renews us. Wonder refreshes us. It brings us joy. It brings the creativity. It's so important that we live a lifestyle of wonder. So, part of my trip away, I was not on the cruise ship the whole time. I was outside of Seattle in this little city called Fall City. It's about 35, 40 minutes out of Seattle. And my friends, Janet and David, purchased a home there. And it's on 4 acres. And let me tell you that these 4 acres were like a park in itself. Magical rings of trees and giant boulders and nature everywhere. And every morning, they invited me for a coffee, and I'd get my coffee, and we'd go outside, and we'd be just sitting there chatting. Sometimes David is a musician, and he would play some music, and things would pop up. Deer, owls, eagles. It was remarkable. And I just sat there in wonder. Like, this is their yard. This is where they live. They get to do this every day. Well, not every day. It's a kind of a gray and cloudy part of the world there. But on these days that I was there, it was just spectacular, beautiful, light and bright. Not too warm, not too cold, just perfect. So I sat there with Jana and David in wonder every morning, starting off my day. One morning I woke up and Jana says to me, "Did you hear that last night?" And I said, "No, what did you hear?" "Chomp, chomp, 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 chomp." And I said, "No, I didn't hear that. I would have looked out the window." Basically, they had this big, beautiful pear tree that was full of pears, and the bears got to the pears. They didn't eat them all. We managed to pick like 5 bags of pears, but they were having a good old time, let me tell you. That brings me so much wonder. Wow. Nature is amazing. So next, I know that we all have obstacles to living wonder. Like things we gotta do, work, chores, responsibilities. Sometimes we end up going on autopilot because of this. I admit it. I go on autopilot. I noticed that for myself this morning. I got up. Brennan is in Las Vegas dog sitting for my family because now they're on a cruise. I got up, got myself ready, got my doggies ready, and went out on the walk. And my walks are always remarkable. A lot of times I'll take pictures of blooms and trees and things that I see when I'm out there because I want to make sure I'm paying attention so I can live this life of wonder. But this morning, I was on autopilot to get it done. Come on, girls, do your thing. Mama's got places to be, places to go, right? So I noticed that. I'm on autopilot, I'm getting it done, getting my chores done, getting them fed, getting ready to get here. But sometimes you need to change a routine. Right? That's what happened to me in Seattle in Fall City. First of all, I don't always have coffee in the morning, but I did every morning with my friends, and we did it outside. That was changing my routine. How can you change your routine to keep it fresh? Now, I know some people like to know what's coming next, and that's another thing about an obstacle. Fear and control. Like, we want to know what's next. Right? We want to know what's next rather than living this mystical, magical life, this inspired life. When I worked for a company for 11 years and was let go of, and I was in ministerial school, I had a practitioner session with my practitioner. And she said to me, "Cindy, you get to live life differently." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She said, "You're now living an inspired life. You get up and you see what is yours to do for this day." Maybe people that are in retirement understand this. Maybe not, because we get lots of stuff to do on our plate, right? So by living an inspired life, what I noticed is it allowed me to be where I was most needed to be. I had a friend going through breast cancer. All of a sudden, my schedule was open and I could take her to appointments. I had a lot of things like that pop up in my life so that I could be where I was most needed to be. I'm not telling you this to tell you to go quit your job. I'm telling you this because sometimes there's things that you can do on a daily basis where you're listening and understanding that this is where I need to be right here with my friend or with my family. The other thing that gets in the way as an obstacle is cynicism. You know, we get jaded. That lifing thing, that peopling thing, right? We just get used to things not always working the way we'd like them to work. So you just kind of, you just kind of brush it off and forget to notice the birds in the trees, the squirrels that are playing, the loving look your pets give you. Not just when she wants to be fed, but just because I'm there. Just because they're there. Our grandchildren, our children, our friends. Sometimes we forget to notice the love that is right in front of us. I'm not saying that life isn't going to stop lifing. It is. But you want to look through that lens of wonder as much as you can. So there's things that we can do to cultivate this wonder. Practices. We can be mindful. We can pause and notice in our daily activities what's going on here. What about when you get in your car? Isn't it a wonder that we get in these vehicles? We turn them on, most of the time they work. We turn them on and we get from point A to point B. Isn't that amazing? Back in the day, we didn't have that. Some people still don't have that. What about being in wonder that you get to go into your kitchen and open the refrigerator and decide, what am I going to feed myself with? Okay, it's not quite like a cruise, Jerry, where I get to go to the buffet and decide what I want. But how amazing is it that I have the abundance and the know-how to put together something delicious and nutritious to take care of myself? Well, sometimes people put things in the microwave, but that's all an amazing wonder too. All these options that we have. So stop, pause, notice. Be mindful of every little thing. Be mindful that you have the ability to brush your teeth, that you have a toothbrush, that you have toothpaste, that you have running water. Be mindful. Next is ask yourself empowering questions. Not those questions, oh, why did you do that again? That's not what I'm talking about, folks. How would love show up? What am I meant to know and learn from this situation? How is this expanding my life? See, these are empowering questions. Ask yourself these questions, and you'll see the wonder in your life. Become that child again. Rick talked about that. That 5-year-old that thought everything was magical. Everything really is magical. Look through the eyes of yourself as a child. There's so many magical, miraculous things that happen on a day-to-day basis. I don't know, adults that are adulting kind of forget how amazing life is. If you ever forget, just go and spend time with a child. And you'll see how magical life is. The next is gratitude. We talk about gratitude here all the time. Stay in gratitude. If the only thing you can do today is say thank you, that's enough. Gratitude practice changed my life many times over. It was The biggest challenges in my life that I reached for that extra gratitude practice. And it always, always, always comes through. If you've forgotten about gratitude in your life, pick it back up. Put a piece of paper by your bedside and write at least 5 things you're grateful for before you go to sleep. Maybe write 5 more things you're grateful for when you wake up. And finally, engage with community. Like, don't miss today's meeting after here. Besides getting fed, we're going to practice spiritual practices together. Don't miss it. Engage in nature. Look at this beautiful place we live in, you guys. You can go a few miles away and find a beautiful trail. It doesn't have to be a hard hike. Maybe you can't hike right now, but you can take your car. You can go up to the mountains. You can sit in reverence, in beauty, and feel that connection to nature. So living wonder is a way of life. It's a choice, as I said. It's a choice point. If you feel like you're not doing that, put on a new pair of lenses. Look through a different frame. You choose it. Wonder helps us live with openness, with reverence, and with this sense of connection. So I have a vision for this community. What if everyone that walks through these doors lives from a sense of wonder? Can you imagine how we would be here for each other? How we would support each other in living our best lives? In appreciating what we have? In appreciating this beautiful place that we live in? Look, I'm going to just say this. When I was away, it did give me a change in what I was viewing on a daily basis. And what it did for me was remind me of just how blessed I am to be in a community such as this. How blessed I am that we get to come together and have these kind of conversations and remind each other to live in wonder. To remind each other the beauty that surrounds us. To remind each other of the big hearts that we are surrounded with in this community. Put your hand on your heart just for a moment. Close your eyes and remember a time of wonder. Maybe it was looking at the ocean or looking at an enormous tree or a bear or a bird. Feel that sense of wonder in your heart. Allow that sense of wonder to inhabit every cell and atom of your body. Breathe that in. Upon the exhale, just let that sense of wonder go into this room, into our state, into our country, encapsulating this beautiful globe, Mother Gaia, this beautiful world. That sense of wonder is always inside you. It is who and what we are. I'm going to end with this quote from Rumi. talking about wonder. The wonder of water moving over a rock in the stream justifies existence. The swish of a horse's tail. I am stunned by the grandeur of the unseen one that governs all movement. Have you ever gotten breathless before a beautiful face? For I see you there, my dear. This is a wonderful problem waiting for you. How to keep from fainting when we see it in each other. Let's pray. And just staying in that sense of wonder, breathing it in. Such deep gratitude. Grateful for this day, grateful for grandparents, grateful for music, grateful for choosing a life of wonder. I'm grateful for nature and the whales and eagles and owls and all the critters that I saw. Grateful for the stunningly beautiful landscapes that were before me. Grateful for the opportunity to be in such a sacred place where I felt my connection to the one wholeheartedly, undoubtedly. Grateful to know that there is only one power, one presence, one love. It was in the whales and the water and the ship. It was in the bears and the jumping salmon, the otters, the sea life. It was in every boat, every tree, every glacier and mountain. There's no place that this oneness is not. Whether you call it God, spirit, oneness, allness, love, energy, light, Allah, Jehovah, Hashem, the way. Knowing that this universal medium that is everywhere and everything is speaking through me, beating as my heart, stepping through my steps, smelling and seeing through my senses. I know the same truth for each and every beautiful soul hearing this prayer, whether in this room or online, on YouTube and Facebook, watching it in this now moment or watching it later. That we are one and the same as the one, always unified, always present and never absent. So knowing this truth with the capital T, I claim and know wonder. I claim and know wonder as a way of life for all of us. I claim and know wonder as magic, wonder as genius. I claim and know for all of us unicorns, for the weird, for the wild, for the creative, for the sensitive, that we are here at a time like this because we are who we are. Loving beings, big-hearted souls, here to make a profound difference on this planet. Because we show up with this sensitivity. We show up with this generosity. We show up authentically. I claim and know this for this planet where there's places on this planet that are experiencing something other than love. That we get to be the love. We get to bring the love. We also get to be the peace and give that out. We don't hold it back because we know as we give it out, it comes back multiplied. We don't have to hoard it for ourselves because there's an endless supply of love. The more we give, the more we get. The more we give, the more we get. So I ask you to say your name either silently or out loud, and the names of your beloveds that are in the need for a prayer today. Yes, yes, yes. This is fertile soil that we plant these prayer requests in. Nothing too small, nothing too big to request. For this is a place where we know prayer works. And for this, I am so grateful to know that a shift has occurred. It is done now. It might be a subtle change, a subtle difference. It might be something huge and dynamic that we walk out of the room and we recognize and realize something is different. And for this, I know the only thing to do is to let it go. Surrender. There's nothing on this human realm that makes us have to manipulate or be concerned, because it's already done. It's done now. And if you resonate with any of this, please say with me, and so it is. Amen.